Hey there, my name is Lumina. I speedrun the game Stray for a bunch of different categories, and what I'm about to play is Stray 100% Glitchless. 100% Glitchless means that we are going to play the game entire way through, getting all 27 memories, all 5 core memories, and 22 secondary memories, and all 6 badges across the course of the game before we finish. If we do this, then we will know that we have gotten this by the fact that the cat will get a fun little holographic jacket at the end of the game. I think it's super fun. It's a way to showcase the entirety of the game while still going super fast and showing off all the skill required to just move optimally. And it's just a fun way to play the game, and it's my favorite way to play the game. So we just get right into it. Of course, lovely rain scene. Over the course of this game, you'll actually see me see some of the inputs swap a little bit. I actually do a bit of a hybrid between keyboard and mouse and controller, mainly for just optimized movement purposes. So a lot of the movement that doesn't require talking, I will usually do on controller, and parts where there's menuing and stuff that like I need to skip through a lot of dialogue, that usually is done on keyboard and mouse. We have our 3 little fun little cat friends here. Just gonna say hi, play with our cat friends. There's no official name for the cat, but I've named my cat Huxley. Don't really know what inspired me to name my dear old cat Huxley, but I think Huxley's a good name for our friend. So you'll see me refer to him as such across the game. There's not a whole lot in this beginning section. It just really requires getting through interacting with the cats as quickly as possible, which I absolutely adore because who doesn't love playing with cats? And just look how cute they are. They're so cute, and they go and they take a nap. Yeah, and then after a while, he will just go to sleep. Line myself up with the most optimal position for that, just angling along those paw prints. And that way I know that the cat doesn't have to slide into place and he can just sit himself down. And we get to wait through a cute little cutscene where the cat goes adventuring with his friends. Which I think is super cute. Like, look at that guy. He's so cute. He's just a good little buddy. He's a good little buddy. And I love him. The soundtrack in this game is absolutely phenomenal. It's actually one of the reasons I love doing 100%. Is for one particular soundtrack, which you'll see later in the run in Ant Village. But all of the tracks in this game are just so good. Like, look how pretty all of this is. I love it. Fun little fact, each of those title things that pop up, the red letters that pop up above the title, like inside the wall, those are actual words, and each letter of the robot alphabet is equivalent to a letter of the Latin alphabet. So that right there above inside the wall was B-L-U-E, or blue. Why it's blue, I don't know. I can only assume it's because of the sky, but I just think it's neat. Now, hopefully, this white cat won't walk in our way, because he just likes to walk and settle himself down. There's not always a set path that he's gonna walk, but if he walks in front of you, kind of just gotta go around him. So it's not like the end of the world if he walks in front of you, but, you know, it's kind of annoying when he just gets in your way when you're just trying to run a straight path forward, and he's like, nah, what if I just stood here instead? So normally the way that you would go would be actually down, where you would walk in front of the birds. But we just get to just hop underneath and just be like, nah, we don't want to deal with those birds today. Hop down on this pipe here. So for things like this, where there's nothing but movement, I personally like swapping over to the controller rather than keyboard and mouse, because the movement of the analog stick allows for just slightly better control over the movement, whereas like keyboard you can like slightly tap A or D to go sideways, but with the analog stick you can just like wiggle it like even a little bit and the cat will respond. And then it makes angled jumps like that just a lot easier to accomplish, because instead of having to press 2 buttons at once, just angle it. And this is where our cat friend is ready to join his friends, and no, buddy. The saddest part of the game every time is having to watch our friend just plummet into the abyss. But you know, it's okay. He'll be okay, right? Yeah, he'll be okay. Yes, he's fine. He's all good. So we've fallen inside the wall now into a lovely dark and grungy, what looks to be like a trash center, where there's just like trash completely piled up. There is a lore reason for this. When you have a city that's completely blocked off, where's all your trash gonna go? You know? Apparently at the bottom of wherever this is. Doors opening. Those little squeaky guys are little Zerk friends who are overgrown bacteria that want very much for us to not exist. They're the bad guys. They're some of the bad guys of the game. But I still like them. I think they're cute because they squeak. That might be a hot take, but that's okay. This one is, dead. I think it's either dead or a city. I'll have to double check that. Here's where we get to see some of the Zerks who are just snacking on some stuff. I think that's a dead guy. Is that a corpse in the street? From here, we can see that all of the signs that pop up are signs given to us by our friend B12, who is in the process of beckoning us to him. What's cool about this is that you don't actually have to drop it. You can just walk into it, and he just runs on through. Hopefully this paint can knocks down first try. Love that. Sometimes it can take 3 tries for, like, no good reason. So it's always a good day when the paint can knocks down in 2, you know? Oh, more signs lit up. Hop up there. But first, before we can get through this section, we have to watch the death of a robot in real time. Sorry for your loss of life, buddy. I can't do anything, for I am but a cat. So here is actually where I'm going to set the controller down and swap over to keyboard and mouse, because this is a section where we're running away from the Zerks. And, you know, you can do this section without getting touched, which is cool. There's actually an achievement called Can't Catch Me for doing so. However, I have never been able to accomplish this. So what I do is I have meow set to down scroll. I have a mouse with free scroll, which means if I just like, I can click a setting on and off that allows me to basically like scroll my mouse freely in either the up or down direction. And so what I do for this section, and what a lot of people do, is I set meow, which is the thing that, you know, shakes off the Zerks during this chase, to down scroll, so that I can just let it continually scroll as I'm running. And all the inputs are going so fast that even if the Zerks land, they're immediately thrown off by all of the meow interactions that are happening at the same time. Once we made it there. Cool. And back to controller. For Dead City in particular, which is really just basically optimized movement up the wazoo, controller just makes this a little bit easier because, like, I can angle my inputs without having to completely adjust my camera all the time. It's not a perfect system, of course, but what is, you know? This is really where Dead City comes into its own, as you get to go through this super cool, tall section of buildings that just basically have no life in them. This entire place has been abandoned. For what reason? It's not exactly clear, but there's a lot of this city that we've fallen into that is just deserted, as will actually be shown at the very end. So we are basically just trying to make our way through somehow. We don't really know where we're going as the cat. We're just moving. We're just schmoving right along. This one throws me off because it's like right there and it's very easy to miss if you're not looking for it. Thanks, giant arrow. Jump on through. And soon we'll be making it to the flat where we're gonna meet our friend. I love the aesthetics of this. Get kind of like Stranger Things vibes from the lighting, which is like that, which is pointing you in the way that you're supposed to go. This one always sometimes messes me up because you can easily just accidentally jump down instead. Hop on through. And we are in the flat. And in true cat fashion, we hop on the keyboard. And get to vibe. We are the true keyboard cat right now. Once that's done, we can go in this lovely room, where there are 4 switches that need to... 4 batteries that need to be placed in 4 battery slots. There has been a lot of testing done to, of which order of these is the most, optimal. And it's been... This is one of them, though there are people who do this different ways. Honestly, this whole section is really just up to personal preference of what is easiest for you to accomplish. And for me, it is that order of 3 of the map that was made for putting them in. 3, 1, 2, 5, 4. Somebody made this like really cool map of like, cool, this is switch 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is like slot A, B, C, and D to put them in. And did a whole bunch of testing to see which one was literally the fastest to do. And I think an algorithm even determined that that was one of the fastest ways to do it based on like pathing and how fast the cat goes. But anyways, this is B12. B12 is our little robot companion. That will stay with us for the rest of the game. You won't get to see it because I'm going to use the free scroll to basically zoom through all of the dialogue because talking, it takes up too much time. But basically B12 is like, oh, yeah, some scientist was working on something and I was helping him and I would like to figure out what that was. And so he's like, hey, can you help me? Here's a backpack that I can travel around in. And it's a cat backpack, and the cat's like, what? No. But through B12, we can hold on to our inventory, as he can literally digitize things. And we can use this to our advantage. To hold on to stuff. 3, 7, 4. Oh, 3, 7, 4, 8. So over the course of spin, oh, you always gotta spin in the buckets. So as you can see, I messed up the keypad there. So over the course of the run, I will be personally donating for every mistake that's made on keypads. So if I do a wrong number or just put it input wrong or something like that, I'll be donating for every time that happens. Every time that I forget to spin in a bucket, because bucket spin is extremely important. All those fun things, I think, because this run is all about optimized movement, I think ensuring that if I don't do things optimized, somebody benefits from it. So that's just a fun little thing for me to think about, of like, mistakes are okay. If like, we want to aim for just doing this fast, of course, but you know, stuff happens and good will come out of it somehow. This guy is a little bit spooked that there's a living being in the slums. So the popping in here, the title card for the flat was just flat, and the title card for this area was home, H-O-M-E. So we don't know why that guardian over there sometimes just does the animation early. I don't know if it's just the amount of time that you arrive in here, but sometimes he will just do the animation of him actually closing the doors soon. I like to call this early smile percent because you can make him smile in this scene if you meow it. There it is. Early smile. It doesn't have any effect on anything. It's just sometimes he does the animation early. And I like to take advantage of that fun little fact. Now I gotta go talk to our lovely friend, for which B12 is able to translate for us. So through B12, the robots have a voice to talk to us, the cat. We're clearly not a threat. We're clearly not one of those ugly, ugly Zerks. So it's all good. Ah, yes, my mouse yelling at me that there's too many inputs. The one downside of having a first score mouse that just likes to go is that sometimes it'll yell at you for letting it go. But that's okay. So by showing him this, he tells you where to go, and now we can go on our way. So to accomplish everything that we need to in the slums, there are 4 energy drinks that need to be made. 1, 2, 8, 3. Perfect. There's 4 energy drinks that need to be given, and 8 music sheets that need to be given to our lovely, our lovely friend Marusk here. They actually are really good at what they're playing. So we want to make sure that we collect, oh gosh. And sometimes you really got to make sure that you're pointing the camera where you need to go, because otherwise it will just send you in a direction that you don't want to go sometimes. That's why this route, oh gosh. That's why this route is all about the optimized movement, because one little mistake can cost a lot of time sometimes, especially when you're running up against top times. Grab here, and so there are 3 books. When we talk to Momo, there are 3 books of his friends around the city that we need to collect. Zabaltazar, which is the friend that lives in this house, if I can grab the notebook. Clementine and Doc. So the first book is here. we hop right back outside and head on over to Clementine's house. So these 4 robots, including Momo, the guy we have to go see, make up the Outsiders, a group of robots whose goal is to make it to the outside of Walled City 99, which is where we see our story take place. Right now, Momo is up in his house, a little bit sad that, you know, nothing seems to be working out. But never fear, Huxley is here. Soon we shall arrive and give him all of your friend's notebooks. If it'll let me grab the notebook. And we shall make sure to restore your hope. There's another music sheet. Marusk needs her music. So one of the energy drinks that we need to get is actually hidden in between these buildings. Why there's a vending machine up here that doesn't have easy access, I'll never know. But maybe the robots just like to just go climbing for their energy drinks. Doesn't look like there's too many energy drinks left anyways, so maybe they just don't even know that it's there. That's something I've always wondered. But cool, we hop up on these guys, grab the keys for Doc's safe, head on through. Because I jumped up on there, now I don't need to jump on them to reveal the safe. Just grab Doc's notebook, which is the very particular notebook that we need to make sure that we grab, because that's the one that reveals that, oh hey, there was a weapon that Doc was working on, and maybe using that weapon, which he went off to go test, which is why he's not around anymore, they can finally get out. Here's our friend Momo. I love Momo. I love everything about Momo. He's just a good little guy. You know? He's trying his best. He's the only one of the outsiders that's left. He doesn't want to lose hope. His friends have all gone off and done stuff. Like... Oh, shush. Oh. So Doc's notebook is the one that shows that, oh hey, he was working on the weapon. He's like, bam, let's go. And using this, he's motivated to fix his transceiver, which it's our job to go put on the top of an antenna tower in a very infected part of the lower city. Also, cow. Now it's time for rooftops. Here we go. The title card for this one actually says radio. Here we find ourselves with our lovely squeaky bacteria friends again. Just zoom on past those guys. We don't need them. There's one. There are 2 sub-memories to collect in this, secondary memories to collect in this area. And that is one of them. Rooftops is personally my least favorite section because on my casual playthrough, my very first playthrough, I forgot the memories in this section in particular. Oh gosh. If you're not careful with these barrels, which can sometimes be the bane of your existence, and you don't roll them too far, or far enough, they just won't be close enough for you to jump, even though I'm 90% sure we've made way farther jumps in other places. But you know, it's okay. So over here, we don't need to wait for the door. We can just hop across and just smoosh all of the Zerks. We don't need them. So this is where it really gets to show you where those Zerks, the ones that chased us earlier, really made their home in this place. It's kind of nasty if you think about it. Pizza. But yeah, that's why they're such a threat, is because they can sort of just kind of take over. And as the next memory that we'll find shows, they were made by the Neko Corps, which there's a sign that'll show you what Neko Corps is. They were made to eat the garbage that was, you know, piling up based on the fact that this was a city where humans lived and existed that were making garbage. And something needed to take care of it because otherwise they were going to run out of room. And so Neko Corps, whatever the name is, decided, yes, we'll create some bacteria to eat through all this garbage. Well, as bacteria, there's our Neko Corps. Well, as bacteria does, it evolves. And the Zerks definitely did evolve, and they evolved to be able to eat metal. Now, I don't think that this is necessarily just like any metal, but it's kind of implied that they evolved to be able to eat the metal of whatever the companion robots are made out of. The robots have official titles as companions, as they were companions to the humans that lived in this city. But yeah, that's what our lovely Zerk friends were made. And clearly, something like that can eat robots would be a problem for any robots that lived past the humans, because the humans had a plague, and they all died off. And not but our little robot friends were left. So this we wait. We just get to wobble. Wobble, baby. Just get to wobble back and forth as we're waiting for this thing to pop up that we can jump in and make our way. There is a glitch that I know people who do 100% unrestricted do, where you play through the whole game, but you get to use glitches to complete it. Is that you can actually ride up the side along the left edge of the elevator and just walk up it. Why this works, I have no idea, but it's very fun. Oh, and then this is where we drop off our radio. B12 will give us all the lovely exposition about what happened to the city with the plague and how his robot, or his scientist that he was working with was trying to figure out a way to get through it. And he just tells us all about what happened. Oh, okay. But you know, because we're trying to play this game as fast as possible, we didn't get to hear that. We just get to hear fun little, like, B12 robot noises. And then just continue on. And, as we must deign to do, we must spin. I actually don't think I did a spin in, the first time I read the Bucket and the Slims, so, oopsies. That would be a donation from me. But that's okay! For the purposes of this recording, we're not paying attention to the splits. Oh, and now, instead of the, cool. We're gonna jump out of this, but you still gotta do a spin. But yeah, for the purposes of... Oh, darn it. I mean, you can get that first try, but that's okay. Normally, in other runs that I've done, I would actually forego getting that hidden vending machine one. But there's a little bit of debate as to whether or not, like, doing what, like, the reason for skipping that one is a glitch or not. I'm including it. Also, I think it's just fun to show off the silly little, hidden vending machine. But yeah, but here we go and we knock down the paint can. Oh, hey, buddy. Can we jump down, please? Thanks, man. Cool. Gonna grab the music sheet that's up here and the memory, which is, if you look at that, it's ram. I think it's neat. Okay. So there's that. But yeah, so there's a little bit of debate as to, whether or not, something that 100% runners do is a glitch or not. Technically, you acquire everything the barterer, which is the shop that will be shown a little bit later, has without actually collecting all 4 of the energy drink cans, because it costs 1 for a music sheet and 3 for a memory. So there's, but you accomplish that by, buying the cable that is required for, fixing an item later, buying the secondary memory that is available, which gets stored separately from, all the rest of the items. It gets, saved per save rather than, per game. Reset the checkpoint, because, getting the cable, like, gives you a checkpoint. And then, when you reset the checkpoint, it goes back to where the game was, prior to having bought the memory, as if you hadn't spent the 3 cans on, buying the memory. So, when you go to, when you load back in, you will have 3 cans, fully available for you to spend 1 of them on for the memory, or for the music sheet. Now, technically, this is an unfortunate case I don't know if it's technically, but it seems very close to, a case of item duplication, which very much feels like a glitch, which is not something that is allowed in a glitchless run. You don't want to include glitches in a glitchless run, and generally, item duplication is, pretty close to that. So, for the purposes of this run, even though it's slightly less fast to have to get, it's about like a 30 seconds to a minute slower to actually grab that 4th can. I wanted to include it, 1, to show you where it was, and 2, just to make sure that I wasn't even accidentally doing a glitch. So with that in mind, we've made it into Seamus's house after following him with Momo, being like, "Hey, Seamus is Doc's son." You'll see there's a reference for this once you see what Doc looks like. Seamus is Doc's son, and Seamus is a little bit angry that Doc, his dad, ran away and hasn't come back. And so we are out here trying to basically convince him to help. And so we go here. There's the detergent from earlier. We go, and you know, we go through and we find his special shop, and now we're just in the process of fixing the tracker, which will lead us to Doc. So we got all of our items, and now we go to my favorite NPC in the game. So because we have that electric cable, we can go to a lovely, lovely old robot lady named Grandma. Hello, Grandma. Please make us a knit shawl. So she literally knits the electric cable together. into a lovely little poncho for us because Grandma is the best. Okay. Okay. I got a little bit stuck there, but that's okay. This is the only person that knows how to fix the, I should say, the person that knows how to fix our broken tracker is a man named Elliot, who's up here in his shop in the any percent run. This is where, this corner is actually where you would go, to do the sleep paralysis glitch. But we're not worried about that. Instead, we have to give Elliot a poncho because baby boy is freezing. And he fixes our tracker for us. Did he actually do it? Oh, yes, he did. Thank you. But now, we can just escape out of here. Come on. You can technically jump up onto that fence. I have only managed it once, but that's okay. Now that we have our fixed tracker, we can take it back to dear Seamus, and have him lead us to the part of the slums that will lead us to Doc. How this tracker leads us there, I have no idea. What is it tracking? I also have no idea. But it'll lead us to Doc, and that's all that matters. Just a little walking simulator. Now would be a good time for donations. Do. This poor guy's still cleaning up the paint. Sorry about that, bud. All the way up to Doc, I will be swapping over to, aside for a few sections, I'll be mainly swapping over to the controller for movement. And now we go in. To an area that, if those robots talking nearby, only the Guardian can open this door, but Seamus is like, nope, I got this. And decides that we just get to walk through. So, we walk through. You can see Zerks have taken over this area. And it's a little bit spoopy. Not gonna lie. This is where we get one of our first badges. The 6 badges that we need to get. Alright, and here we go. Actually, there is a Zerk chase coming up, so I'm not going to swap over to keyboard and mouse quite yet. Stop yelling at me. I will have to check what that one says. I don't remember off the top of my head what that one says. We're just running through this area completely. It's like a mix of like foliage, but also just scary. So it's like a Zerk chase similar to the one in Dead City, but a little bit more organic. Come on. This fun little puzzle to get ourselves over to this area. I love the platforming in this game. I think it's super fun. Frogger. And we have a grand old time, and once again we find ourselves being yeeted. But it's fine. We are A-okay. Poor buddy. It's okay. Just give it a lick and you'll be fine. Because of the directionality of the analog stick, some of those jumps can be made from slightly farther back points. Just kind of neat. And we jump up, basically don't go diagonal. And now we've made it to where Doc is just chilling. You can actually hear him snoring from this point. Hey, buddy. So this is Doc. He's got a not unintentional resemblance to a very other famous Doc character. And now that's when it's just like, yeah, that's basically a reference to Doc Brown, and Seamus, his in-game son, is a reference to Marty McFly because Marty McFly's middle name is actually Seamus, and the bucket hat and the puffer coat makes sense now. So free scroll is pretty cool because it allows you to basically just put a bunch of inputs in at once so that it basically just skips through it nearly instantaneously. However, there's this particular battery, for some reason, I don't know why, you cannot put in too many inputs or the game will just full on crash. And we do not want that at all. So we have to be really careful there to not have the free scroll going when you put it on there, because we're 41 minutes in the game and we don't want it to crash. So what we did was we basically turned on the battery power, or we gave the battery back to Doc to power the weapon that he had been working on called the defluxer, which again, a reference to Back to the Future. What the defluxer does is it shows UV rays, and UV rays on beings that have never seen the sun before definitely work well to just kind of explode them. And so here is where he's like, hey, if you're going, I can just put the defluxer on your robot. So now we have what was the lamp is now a UV lamp on B12. And now we have a weapon against those darn cute squeaky zerks. And this is our little tutorial for using them. He'll open this door for us, and we can just come on over here and just immediately explode all of them. It's great. We're unstoppable now. Goes to unlock the door. Now we just gotta get Doc out of here. Seems simple enough. Just gotta open this door, right? And wait for our friend to make his way over here. See, Doc, unlike Momo or Seamus, he can just walk on his own. The other ones are leashed a little bit so that you can't walk too far away from them, or else they will stop walking. Doc, on the other hand, is like, yep, I'm just gonna go do the things, and we love him for it. Because we can just go to where we need to go, and he'll just do what he wants to do, and it's great. Gonna bring this all the way over here and go up into this room, which is Definitely not spooky with red lights. Bring our boy B12 back. If you aim yourself against the wall... Ah! He actually, will just immediately slide off. Come on, buddy. He won't start running in until you get all of them off. So to save energy, we're just gonna... Cool, perfect. Because if you hold the deflector out for too long, B12 will explode. And he won't go into the next section until all of the Zerks that have gotten on this side of the door are gone. And since there is a guaranteed amount of time that it will take the animation to go through of him getting up, going over to the door, and the door slowly closing, it doesn't exactly matter how long, doesn't exactly matter how many are in there or get in by the time that the door closes, so long as like you can get rid of them all by the time that animation is done, because he will always go into the oh no animation, and you can spend basically the entire time of him getting up to that point killing the Zerks. So that's what I did there, is just kind of like wait for them all to surround me, because just I didn't want to burn out my deflexor. Spam meow so that they weren't killing me, and then just spin the camera with the deflexor facing downwards, which aims it directly on the ones surrounding me, and it just kind of kills them all immediately. Which I think is just kind of a fun little fast way to take care of them that for sure won't miss any. Like I nearly did with the one that was chilling on Doc's knee outside the door. So we don't want that. So now, Doc and Marty McFly, Seamus, hey Guardian. To run away as Guardian talks to us. Have a fun moment. And now, we can give Rusk all the things. So this is what I mean by in Glitchless, because this doesn't really accomplish much other than like messing with load times. It creates a checkpoint after every time that you give Rusk a sheet. So you can just reload the checkpoint. It will still count as her having the sheet, and then you can just reload back in, because at least on PC it removes load times for the timer. And you can just give her all the things really fast. This sort of logic is what would be used at the barterer for resetting the checkpoint and having all the cans again to buy the music sheet. But because we're not doing that, don't really need to worry about it, and this is the only time you'll really see something like this. There's one other time in sewers when we'll reload the checkpoint specifically, but that's to basically reset our position way farther back, and it saves us time with the removed loads to just reset the checkpoint. Did I miss one? No. So by giving all 8 sheets of music to Marusk, we get the music badge, which is the second badge of the 6 that we need. This is one of my favorite places because I love fairy lights, and I just think it's a neat aesthetic. Now, Momo has been waiting for us, and now we continue on in the sewers with our newly acquired deflexor weapon. This is a bit of a side scroller, so probably here would be a good time to do some donation incentives, to just have any announcements that need to be made, all that good stuff, because this is just an auto-scroller of us sitting through this lovely, I mean, honestly very cool, detailed out sewers, where Momo wants to talk to us, but other than that, it's just kind of us as a cat here sitting. We can do this cool thing where, like, be like, hey, what's up, guys? This is Huxley here, at AGDQ, here to say thanks for donating everything over the course of this week. So good to be here in a GDQ run. Yeah. Hi. He's a very awkward cat. He doesn't always have a lot to say, but that's okay. We love him anyways. So we actually get to take control of the cat here to open up this grate for Momo here. Oh, you almost exploded, little buddy. There you go. And back to the auto-scroller. You don't even have to destroy all of them. You just have to destroy some of them. Again, back to an auto-scroller. Got those guys just chilling up there. More donation incentives, or more donations. More announcements, all that cool stuff. Talk about how GDQ is doing great. How PCF is neat. All that cool stuff. As we slowly wait for Momo to make his way over to the door. Huxley's just so excited to just wait forever to get to this door. I know. Get to have Momo open the door for us. How he knows how to operate this door, I'll never know. Unless he's just freeballing it. He might be. This is where he's like, oh no, I gotta open it manually. So he was planning, up until this point, because he misses his friends, he was planning on going with us all the way up and out. But, unfortunately, because he has to open it manually, only we can make it through, but we're just as much of an outsider as the rest of them. So he's like, hey, just let him know I was brave. Which, honestly, Momo, you very much were. Gonna jump on up here, swap over to controller again for that sweet, sweet optimized movement. Get out of there. Got this one out here. Okay. And so as not to get stuck by these guys, I just run on through. We don't have a Zerk chase until a little. We do have a Zerk chase coming up here, but that's okay. We can swap over once we get on through. Yeah, it's movement is just so much easier with the analog stick. It's kind of nutty. But we don't have the Uber meows here. So having that on the free scroll meow is quite convenient. And we just kind of run through. There's eyeballs now. Why these Zerks have turned into eyeballs? I mean, they have eyeballs on them, so I guess like the eye can be used as like the biggest thing, but like they're just eyes on the wall now for some reason. So we get the checkpoint over here so that when we are done with our stuff over here, we can just reset the checkpoint and be back exactly where we were. Just a fun little saving of movement. A little guy. And I didn't do it anyways, but you know, that's okay. It only saves like a few seconds, and that's alright. So there are 2 locks that we need to unlock on that door over there. One on the right and one on the left. It's a little bit tougher to go on the left here because there's a lot more Zerks that you run into and a lot higher chance of death. However, it's actually faster to go right then left because you have to basically go across then come back. And because there are 2 barrels on this side and only 1 on the other, it means having to cross less barrels overall. So going right to left is a little bit trickier because the Zerks, it's safer to go left than right, but it's faster to go right than left. Here is where B12 gets to have an existential crisis while looking into the eyeball of one of these Zerk wall things. Don't know why this is the moment that he has an existential crisis on, but you know, it's okay. But thankfully he's able to snap out of it enough to save us. But B12 buddy, like we're okay. We can run. You don't need to extend your defluxer battery and completely short yourself out. It's fine. But now it's time to run. This is another pretty straightforward Zerk chase. Just kind of running forward with our friend, trying to avoid getting caught if possible. We're aiming for that door all the way down there. They kind of come from all directions. We're just avoiding them. This is a very complex sewer system, I do have to say. Well, that's alright. It's not like anybody's really using it, you know? Okay, like, yes, we caught up to you. But, nothing we can do. Guess we gotta stop. Gotta interact with our boy to wake him up. He just apologizes. And now we can get through to my favorite level in the entire game. Where it, again, like I said earlier, has one of the best soundtracks in the entire game. This is the section that we were reaching that Zabaltazar and Clem had theoretically made it to. A place called Ant Village, which is a village built on a tree, which is super cool. The title of this one is called Peace, by the way, which I think is super neat. So this is a fun little cutscene where B12 looks at one of these pods, which is a similar pod to the one that was in the flat in that side room where the box that he was in contained, right? And he has a moment that, oh, I wasn't helping a scientist, I was the scientist. And so it's revealed through B12 that he was trying to upload his consciousness into a robot because he was dying of the plague that had been mentioned at the top of rooftops. So he has this moment of like, I don't know who I am, and he just like his second existential crisis of trying to figure out who he is and what he has to do and truly remembering like what he was up to. This is our boy Zabaltazar. He's plugged himself into the collective. Now, for This is a fun little thing, which is because we do 100%, we get to stay in here collecting flowers, because we have to get the plant badge here. But because we stay in Ant Village for a little bit longer, we actually get to hear more of the song, which I think is super neat. The one and only memory here. And we get the purple flower up in this tree. And then we head down this way. Down here to get the red flower over there. There it is. The best song in the game. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who play this game agree with me. This is easily the top soundtrack. Just get a vibe to it. There's our badge. I'm still vibing. Oh, it's just so good. Best soundtrack. And we've made it to the metro, and this is where we come up to a place called Midtown, which is where Clem is. This is kind of where things really start to ramp up of like, cool, we are getting to the outside. This was the secondary level that was shown when we were looking around in rooftops of like where we were aiming for. That like this is the closest thing that we've got to the outside, and this is a metro like substation that like will lead us there. We've got 6 memories to get here in Midtown, the first of which is right on over here. Smiley cat. That friend's just there. Also, this is the first instance of a child robot we ever see in the game. So the first thing that we need to collect is in here, which is a safe up here, which is 8542. That contains the cat badge, which is such a cool little badge. It's like a digital little cat. You can actually see it on this side of our jacket there. It's all lit up. So our goal here in Midtown is to find Clem. And Clem is the last one of the outsiders who actually might have know how to get out of here. And so on the picture that we were given by Zawaltazar, which went a little bit fast to really see that, there was, as if you talk around town, there's a few symbols on the back which will tell you the street number that she's on and what building on that street to go to. And so if you follow that, you find your way to these apartments where one of these buildings is where Clem is hiding. Now, to get the items that we need for Clem's contact, which we'll see later, we have to get a cassette tape, which there's a pile of them belonging to those boys that were just chilling in the middle of the apartment complex. And so to get one of them, they'll share if we get rid of the 3 cameras, hey Clem, around the middle of the complex. Hey, here's your item. Cool. And so what's really nice and convenient to do is that you can get 2 of the cameras on the way up, and since you have to go back down, one of them on the way down as well. So that's what the random jumping on cameras was accomplishing. Now that we've done that, we can get that cassette tape. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're going to get we're going to get a worker's hat and a worker's jacket so that Clem's contact can sneak us into the factory so that we can get the battery that is needed to start up that subway again. So to do that, we need to wake up this guy, who is the worker that is missing from in front of the hat shop, and have him walk all the way over to grab... Nope. To actually accomplish what we need to in the hat shop. I gotta go into the cafe to grab this one. Because there's a memory up here that is very easy to miss if you're not careful. He takes a while to walk over because he also stops. And so there is enough time to grab both the worker jacket and this memory by the time that he's done, that he's still walking over to the hat shop. So we were able to get both of those. He talks for a little bit, and we have time to hop in, because he gets a lecture for being late because he was out drinking. So it gives us enough time to accomplish a few things, since we have to wait for him to get over there anyways to get inside the shop, because that guy sitting at the door is like, nobody allowed in the shop while they're, like, loading stuff in. Like, there's a certain amount of time that has to be waited anyways. So might as well accomplish things while we're doing so. And we're aiming for that worker hat right there. The one that is very clearly outlined and stuff. We just grab this guy and run on out. Now we can go talk to Blazer, who is just over here. And here's the note. He tells us, yeah, he can get us in there, and this is what we gotta do. So if we stand here and then give him the stuff, when we're done talking, we actually have enough time as it fades to black to jump into the box, so that when he's all dressed and comes back, we're already in the box and we don't have to spend the time jumping into it. This is just a fun little, like, quick jump hack, which is kind of fun. So this is the ever-dreaded factory. Factory is where we are first introduced to the Sentinels. Sentinels are these robots that basically are patrolling the factory and can, like, tranquilizer gun snipe you if you're not careful. And if they snipe you, it means that you have to start everything all over again from the beginning in factory, because the checkpoint comes once you've reached the battery room. I'm admittedly playing it slightly safe here because I don't want to get sniped in this area in particular, because one of the badges requires me to get the worker keys, which is right there. So from there we can get the worker keys by going this way. It's a little bit safer to go around that. Now I can give them to this guy. There you go. I'm just keeping it on controller because now, because we waited long enough, we can just hop over this way. Ooh, that was close. And then just continue on our way. There's only one sentinel here that will notice us, and if we run fast enough and far enough away from him and don't meow or anything, we can make it inside this barrel totally fine. This is the fun little barrel puzzle. or the battery room puzzle. So we have to figure out where to put these guys on what different panel and whatnot to actually get the battery to lower, because all of them have to be dropped off for that to happen. Or have to be pushed down for that to happen. Normally what you would do is you would bring this second one all the way over, which lifts this up, which is enough to, or at least putting this one down. Putting it over here puts the battery in a spot where you can technically push the barrel through. However, because, because of the way that this works with all three of them pushed down, you can actually get the battery before it goes all the way up again, because you are technically close enough for B12 to grab it. So it's just a quick way to not have to spend the time pushing the barrel all the way through. It's a fun little time save that one of the runners found a little while ago. I'll have to look up who found a lot of these skips. Ooh. Okay, so now that we have done everything in the factory, there is a memory and a badge that we are gonna get, because the police station is now open. So we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna jump all the way up this building to find what I'm assuming is the equivalent of a jail cell. I'm not entirely sure what this room is for. And grab the police badge off this guy. Why he has a police badge, I don't know if he's police or if he stole the badge, but the badge is ours now. So we just hop our way down here, and when we're done hopping down, we are right by the police station to grab this memory. This place is not open until after the battery has been stolen. So you have to get it after going through factory. All right. Okay. Let's not get shot by the sentinels today, shall we? For this section, you can just easily run through it, but it's still a little bit spoopy to intentionally, like, go through. Oh god. Like that. Yep. So that can very easily happen if I die at any point. This is a good way to show it that it's another donation incentive for me personally. Of any time I die, I'll be donating. So cool. So we are back here, right? Because it gives you a checkpoint after collecting the badge. So now we just need to. I don't need to go collect the memory again because the secondary memories save separately from everything else. So we can just go straight to Clem's apartment. Sometimes bad stuff happens. It's okay. Sometimes the cycling is weird. It's all good. Sentinel cycles are sometimes kind of funky, and that's okay. I could have waited probably like the 2 seconds for the sentinel to not run in front of my face, but that's fine. So now we see that, oh hey, Clem's gone. And there's a note saying where she left all of the little bits of information that will tell us where she is. So we get the incense burner, the crystal, the cone head mannequin, and the lava lamp up here, which doesn't always want me to. Now it tells us, oh hey, I'm with Blazer at the nightclub. Now, getting all 4 of those gives us a checkpoint, so I'm just going to reset the checkpoint to reset the sentinel positions, because they can be kind of funky, and that one was... I don't know if that one was aggroed on me or not, but I don't want to take chances on it accidentally aggroing again as I'm trying to jump down, which can happen, and it can shoot you as you are trying to go down, and I don't want to have to waste more time doing that, so we're just going to reset the checkpoint for safety. There's a memory up top here that we don't want to forget about. So this is the second to last memory. Up here in this little roof area, which I love the vibe of this little roof hangout, not gonna lie. Because we want to aim for that window there where that robot is just hanging out. Because that will be the entrance to the club, since the street entrance is a little bit locked, and this guy's like, hey, wanna come on in? And we're like, yeah, we do. We were told that we gotta get in the club. The last memory in Midtown is down in this little kitchen area, I think is what it is. Just grab that. Smiley kitty. It looks like he's smiling, and I like it. Last memory in Midtown. And this thing sends us all the way back up. Maybe? Okay, I was gonna say. As we're leaving, we pass through here, grab that fun little drink, and give it to this guy, who was so bored at the club that he stole the lever handle that belongs over here that activates the platform. Apparently they've had a problem with this in the past. I don't know why. Either way, now we get to play with some fun buttons that mess with the little catwalks up here. And it's through here that we say, there was Blazer up there in the VIP club, that the only way for us as a cat to get to is via the rafters. We just hop on through here and go meet our friend, but Lem, oh no. Turns out Blazer's kind of a jerk and sold us out. Because money is more important than friendship, and Clem has been a wanted criminal. Thus her reason for holing up in her apartment up there. And now we get shot. And it's time to go to jail. So here, when we get that checkpoint reload, we can reset the checkpoint. Swing the checkpoint so that we're actually out by the time that it is actually done swinging. Because if you reset the checkpoint, it loads in the area that you're in with the swinging cage, but it also means that with other cutscenes, you can do stuff while in that cutscene. And so if you do a combination of swinging the cage back and forth with both the keyboard and the controller, and jump out after you hear like the second hit of it, like hitting the wall, you can actually pretty much be out of the cage and walking on the pipe that you want to jump to by the time that it is loaded back in. And so it's just a little bit of a cool kind of time save that I think is kind of neat, that like utilizes the weird ways that checkpoints work and interact with game states. So that's just kind of a fun little thing. And we dropped that. Now Clem has the keys. So a fun little, what's cool that I didn't really realize until I watched a full any percent run through, is that in the any percent run through, with the way that they glitch through the floor, you never actually lose B12, because you go straight from the window of club to jail. You literally fall into jail. And if you have B12 in those moments when she's talking, that like she just sounds like the gibberish robot noises, she actually has dialogue the entire time, which I think is neat. I didn't really realize this until I did a run myself of the any percent. Alright, Clem. Come on down, girl. There it is. Cool. If I run all the way out here, she doesn't stop to look around, and it's just faster. But yeah, all of these times when Clem is just, like, talking, but there's no dialogue because B12 isn't there to translate, she's got dialogue, which I think is neat. Like, hey, now it's time to get out of here, or whatever else she says, or, like, just the little things you don't necessarily think about, of, like, the fact that they put dialogue in there for her to technically exist, even though on a normal run-through you would have no way of accessing that dialogue. Like, I just think it's cool. Alright, now Clem can get us through this doorway, and here comes the most hated section of the game, which is jail, because once again you have to avoid all of the sentinels and not get shot, because if you do, you have to start all the way over again. And that's no fun. That is absolutely no fun. And there's very tight windows of getting through stuff, which I personally don't mind, but, like, it can understandably be annoying. Let's hop on up. Oh, guy, come on. We don't want to get seen by any of these. That's a really bad spot to jump down on, so we're just not gonna... Oh. Just gonna not play games for safety, because I don't want to have to restart if I don't have to. So, the cool thing about this stuff is that you notice I'm actually controlling the cat in this cutscene. So these cutscenes are actually, like, live at the time, and there are some cutscenes where you can move around, and this happens to be one of them. So you can save all the time that you need of, buddy, where are you going? All the time you need of, like, running from where that switch was to, and avoid all of the sentinels who are just coming to look at, the B12 platform that has been de-electrified. And you just get to run over and grab him and already be there and just run away. It's pretty great. There's one other cutscene in particular where this is actually, like, useful, which is in control room of running during one of the cutscenes where it's showing that there's alarms going off, and you can position your cat to get one of the two hacking portals and, like, run during that cutscene, and it just sets you up and you don't have to spend the time running. Kind of nice. Using the stuff that you have to wait through to save yourself time is one of my favorite things about the time saves that have been found through this game. Yep. It didn't even go through, it just, like, bounced back. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. I can just hop on up. On some instances, I have not been able to accomplish it yet, but you can actually jump nearly immediately up there versus having to wait for Clem to, like, stand up for you to reach it. Okay. And the yard. This is another spot where you can get shot at, which is not the most fun. So if you can aggro them, you can just kind of slip in as the door closes behind them. It's quite useful. It's just a little bit of a tricky balance of how long do you wait for them to follow you and how long do you keep them, like, on your tail? No pun intended. Or, yes, pun intended. Versus staying away so you don't get shot. So it's a fine balance. And here we collect our last secondary memory, where Beetle's like, yeah, they basically decommissioned this guy. Do not get caught. Okay. So. Woo! And we're good. I play the dangerous game of running around on the inside and escaping through that door. A lot of times what people will do is they will actually go around to that door over there. and run out because it keeps them following you, like, more inside the door there. But the way that I learned how to do it was a very dangerous way of just running around on the inside, because their tracking is not always the best if you run in tight circles, because there's a slight delay between each little trank shot that they shoot. And then if you run in tight enough circles, they cannot hit you. And that was my dangerous way of doing that. So I kind of co-opted the two together to do the dangerous running around to escape on that side versus the outside, as well as getting them both inside immediately. Human personnel only. I'm a rebel. I'm an outsider. You can't tell me what to do. I do what I want. Yep, and here is where we just finally get ourselves out of jail. Get to do a fun little just optimum movement trick called early van. So, just run up here. If we cut this corner here so that we're really close to the van when it goes through the archway, we can jump onto it earlier than normal, like nearly like right as it crosses that threshold. Generally, what you normally have to do is you have to like, it'll slow itself down on purpose as you get down further in the tunnel, and that's when you would jump on. So it's like a big old tunnel chase. But if you just cut that corner, you get to like save a few seconds of not having to run down that tunnel, and it's quite convenient. Here's where Clem's like, yep, you go on ahead, little guy. I can't go with you because they'll catch both of us, even though I slightly doubt it. It's like, ah, yes, go on so they don't catch you. Guess they were right. Now we go back into the subway. Sans Clem. All the way back down here, where we now have the battery from the factory to restart up the subway, and the keys to actually make it go. Another good time. This would be another good time for any donations and lots of cool stuff. The announcements. Because this is just kind of another waiting game as we go into here and get up into control room. Because it'll be a cutscene here and then a cutscene as it loads in. Cool. We get to ride a train! Ride a subway car! Ha ha ha! So there's a fun little, this game is full of a bunch of Easter eggs, obviously with Doc and Marty, Seamus. Someone that somebody had mentioned, or had noted a while ago, I think it's on, is it this one? Things will light up and I can show you. Yep. Is the, crowbar from Half-Life, because as far from what I am aware as, is that Half-Life starts you off in a subway car. So just a little reference to that. So now we are up in the control room area where the vibe of the place and the vibe of the companions is vastly different. Everything is clean and like quiet. So if you get this guy over here and jump up, you can unlock this by the time that that first one is done. So normally you're supposed to bring it over there and then he'll be like, oh yeah, you can do these at the same time, so that he's already over there when you jump up on it. But you can get it on a first cycle and just go in immediately. So hey, we've gotten all 5 core memories and all 27 or all 22 secondary memories. So now we get our cool little holographic jacket. It's kind of neat. It's like rainbow and all that cool stuff. Now, it's our job to turn on the computers, and this is where we go into the slow section, where as we as our cats do, we jump on the keyboards and mess with them and turn them on. Because why wouldn't we? It's our job to mess things up and all that good stuff. B12 does some hacking and realizing that, oh, there's some actual security to this, and we gotta hack through it, and B12 knows what we gotta do. So do what you do best, destroy stuff. Happily, B12. Happily. Okay. So this is another one of those, cutscenes where, I can actually get up into this corner. Perfect. Because I can move during that cutscene to get myself over here and not have to spend time outside of it walking over. Just saves me some time. I don't know if I can interact with the thing in the cutscene or not. But that's okay. So the cutscene movement, I didn't really necessarily explain it during jail, but in the cutscenes where you can move, the direction that your cat moves is relative to where the locked camera position is. So when it was facing the window part, if I wanted to move in that back corner, I had to move down and to the left, or down and to the right, and then when it was facing the doorway, I had to move just straight to the right, because that was where the cat would be moving relative to the door. Now, this is where we become sad. It's revealed that B12 knew that hacking these things to free everything would be too much for his little robot body to handle, and he shorts himself out. Which is really sad, but every time he falls down, I honestly can't help but think that he looks like one of those, like, picture readers as a kid that looked like a binocular, and you would put the little, like, picture wheels in it and press the button to go to the next one. That's what he looks like as he falls down every single time. Is this me coping about the fact that B12 is gone? Maybe. Maybe. But it's okay. He saved us. He saved everyone in the city. Both cities, both slums and Midtown. He finally opened the door. He helped us finally bring back sunlight to the walled city. You did a good job, buddy. I salute you. We have a fun little cutscene here of B12, of what happens now that the city is open. Momo's like, ah, yeah, sunlight. We still have a little bit left to go, so timer doesn't quite run out until we reach the very end. So we're still in control, guys. Looks like Clem's about to be shot, but apparently sunlight stops sentinels. Why? I don't know. My only theory with that is that because sentinels were made in a city without sunlight, the introduction of any UV in that regard would not be good for them. I got no other ideas. So, yeah, we, run out. That guy's like, I don't know what's happening. And city is open. City is actually open. You can freely get in and get out. You could not before. That was a lie. But yeah, we've finally made it to the outside. And time will stop at the moment that the screen goes black at the top of the stairs. And time. And that is Stray 100% glitchless. All memories, 5 core, 22 secondary, all badges, proved with a holographic jacket, done in 132. So, thanks to everyone who has helped make this speedrun reality. Yeah, this is super fun. I love this game. I love this category. I think it would be a lovely addition to a GDQ run. I know there's been some any percents done in a few marathons, as well as like a GDQ hotfix, as well as there was a race between hobby keys. But 100% has not been shown yet. And I think that because there's really only like there's not a huge like time difference even between like 100% and any percent glitchless. It's just cool to show off like all parts of it and just get to like show off the little things you might not notice on a casual playthrough. So yeah, thank you so much, and I love this game, and I hope that it's loved enough for a marathon too. So again, my name is Lumina, and this is Stray 100% glitchless. Thanks for watching.